G'day everyone, welcome to FinChats. My name is Hoy,
My name's Hugh.
and today we're talking about the Level 1 CFA program. So we've got Hugh with me, and he's actually doing the CFA program. So, what a better person to answer my queries. So, before we dig into the Level 1 of the CFA program, can you just tell us what actually the CFA program is?
Sure, Hoy. I think that's a really good place to start. So the CFA program is a three-part exam. So they're split into the levels, like level one, two, and three. And essentially what it tests are a broad range of topics within investment. So tools such as using quantitative techniques and economics. And then you'll spend a large chunk of time on different asset classes and how to value those asset classes. So equities, fixed income, alternative investments, and also derivatives. And then also there's a large focus on portfolio construction and wealth management, how to build portfolios and manage that in a risk aware manner. So that's what the CFA program is.
So why would anyone want to do it? It sounds like a very heavy thing to do.
It it does sound really heavy, but I think that it's for people who ultimately want to learn more about the investments industry and perhaps want to have a long-term career in it. The investments industry is like notoriously competitive to get into, and this is just one way to sort of stand out and show, prospective employers that you actually do know your foundational stuff. Different asset classes and tools, how to read balance sheets and whatnot. So it saves a lot of these employers from upskilling and training you. Now, that's a natural part of the job, but this also shows that you've got that natural sort of inclination and discipline to like learn something in your own spare time. And it really flags sort of passion, I guess. So yeah, if you're serious about a career in the industry, that's probably why you want to do it. Or alternatively, you might be in a different industry, say nursing or engineering. All you need is a bachelor's degree to start. So if you wanted to make a transition from that industry to investments, this is also a perfect way to do it. You don't have to do a master's degree. Um, in my opinion, I think this really encapsulates what you learn in a master's degree and sort of compresses it quite well. Mm.
Right, right. And you do get some global industry recognition, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's another huge benefit. So let's say you become a CFA charter holder, regardless of where you are in the world, all investment industries and companies recognize the CFA. So say you're an Australian and you went over to London or America or any country in the world, the CFA designation is recognized. There's also societies within each city. So there can be one for London, New York, Sao Paulo,
Right.
Sydney, etc. So there's always some sort of organization that the CFA has in every industry, in every city. So you can easily build your network that way if you do want to work overseas.
So let's talk a little bit deeper about level one then. I know that you've provided a overview of the CFA program, and it has different levels. Specifically, what's involved. I actually did the level one, but that
Mm.
was many moons ago. But so if you can refresh my memory, like what are the subjects and how much time and effort should one put into it?
Yeah, sure. So I alluded to this a bit earlier in terms of what it involves, but level one has a major focus on, I guess, an introduction to what you can expect in the
Right.
investments industry. You learn basic, what they call tools, which is quantitative analysis. So that's using sort of regression and understanding what significance means with key stats and whatnot. So it's very much introductory statistics. And then you'll learn how to read income statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statements. So that's a core component as well. And then you'll learn about the different asset classes. So as I said, equities, fixed income, alternatives, and derivatives. And then you put that all together in portfolio management, how to construct a portfolio. Now, each level will emphasize sort of these different categories a bit more. So for example, level 3 has a heavy emphasis on portfolio management and construction. Level 2 more on the valuation side of things.
Right. And is it fair to say that, would you have a advantage, for example, if you had studied finance as your bachelor's degree in your undergrad, or is it all level playing field, whether you're a nurse or engineer, a finance graduate, is it all the same, or do you have a certain advantage going into the level 1 if you have that finance
Mm.
background?
I think, to be frank, the honest answer is it does help. It it helps in the sense that you don't have to study as many hours. So just for reference, like I did a bachelor's of commerce and finance at my uni, and so I didn't actually spend too much time on level 1, and I really actually I underestimated the amount of time it takes. So I think I did around 200 hours. And
Wow.
you asked how long it takes. It does take, well, it depends on each individual, but the CFA Institute recommends 300 hours. Now, they do admit they're probably lowballing it. A lot of candidates are reporting 350, 400 plus hours. So it is a lot. I think that if you're from a different industry, probably more than 300, in that 300 to 400 hours is recommended.
And that's
But
over
either
what time period? 350, 400 hours over, I think, 6 months period, right?
So you can choose how long you
Right.
want to do it. You can sign up for the test next year, and that will give you 1 year to study for it. But you can also sign up for the one in 6 months. It
Right.
really depends how you want to space your time. If you don't feel confident or you come from a different sort of background, you could give it 8 months. If you're from finance, you can do 5, 6 months. It really varies. So it's up to you
So
what you
really, it's
want.
a self-study program that
Yeah,
as long as you
self-study.
catch the scheduled exams
Yes.
in your,
Mm,
location, then you're
mm,
okay. And by the sounds of it, the schedule of the exams is every 6 months or so. So
mm.
that requires some discipline, I can imagine, right?
Definitely.
Three,
Yeah.
400 hours, over say 6 month period, plus
Mm,
somebody's working full time, maybe. It does take discipline. So, how did you find that discipline? I mean, did you
mm.
have to? I would imagine you had to sacrifice a lot of family outings, friend outings, etc. Right?
Yeah, it does require a lot of commitment, and that's the thing that sort of deters people away from the program. For me, I did a lot of study on the weekends, so anywhere from 3 to 6 hours per day on the weekend, and it really just comes back to having a consistent study schedule that you stick to. That sort of got me through the level 1 program, level 1, yeah, CFA, and level 2 as well. Um, so another thing is, I think, passion. So what I found is that not many people who are charter holders are not passionate. All of the charter holders that I see are extremely passionate about their roles and jobs and their industries. So it just shows that because it seems like a lot of hours, it might seem daunting, but if you have the passion, it actually doesn't feel like work almost. It feels like a hobby that you enjoy doing. So there's also a mental shift in how you sort of approach these exams. If you see it as an opportunity to learn something valuable, then it wouldn't be too bad. But yes, you do have to be very interested in it to start. Otherwise, you won't finish it.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything, isn't it? Just
Exactly. Yeah.
perseverance and commitment. Just, I
Mhm.
guess, to keep mindful why you started in the first place when you want to give up, right? So let's talk about practical things. So I'm sure there's some people out there who's considering the level 1. I mean, how do you even go about, I guess, registering or enrolling
Yeah.
into this?
Sure. I mean, the easiest way, you go on Google and you type in enroll CFA level 1. So what it
Yeah.
would do is they'll take you to a button that says enroll and register. You'll create an account, you'll select an exam date. So it's actually held 4 times a year for level 1. But if you don't pass, you can't just hit the next one. You do have to wait to the one after. So every
Right.
6 months, I guess you can take. Um, as of recording, as of June, the next exam that you can do is in November this year, and registrations open. The early registrations open 10th of May, and the registration closes 8th of August. So there's a bit of time, about 2 months before the deadline closes for level 1 in November. But yeah, just go on the CFA Institute website and just click enroll and register. And now the prerequisite is a bachelor's degree. So as long as you've got that, then you can start. Sorry,
And
actually, it's if you're in your second last year of uni, you can also begin level 1 as well.
right. And we'll also link the CFA Institute website in the description, which I believe is cfainstitute.org, if I'm not
Yep,
wrong.
that's correct.
Right.
Yeah, we'll put the links in for the enrollment and registration.
And in terms of how much it all cost, roughly how much does it cost?
Yeah, so if you apply by the early bird registration line date zone, it's $900 US. Now standard registration is $1,200. I recommend maybe doing it this year because next year will increase. So next year the early registration fees are 940 US,
Right.
and the standard is 1250. So an extra sort of 40 to 50 US dollars next year. Yeah, but holistically, it's much, much cheaper than doing a full master's degree at a university. So it
Yeah.
might seem like a lot, but in comparison, it's not too much, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I'd done level 1 long time ago, and I was working at that stage, and I was because I was working in the finance field, I did manage to get my employer to pay for it.
Yeah.
So maybe for some of our viewers there, if it relates to your job, you could also see whether your employer is up for funding their self-education.
Yeah.
But in terms of the registration, if I remember correctly, and you must correct me if I'm wrong, the registration fee not only enrolls you into the course, but you also get a set of books so you can self-study. Is that still the case?
So it's funny you say that because they don't do books anymore. So
Oh,
actually,
okay. So that's how
I
long I've done the level 1 course. So forget
so
my advice.
about 1 or 2 years ago, the CFA Institute said they no longer provide books, and I'm not sure why. I think it should be a prerequisite. Now, when I did level 1 and 2, I got my books, and now I'm doing level 3 at the moment. And I actually requested books from the CFA Institute by emailing them, and they said no, we just referred to the PDF. So yes, they used to do books, but not anymore, and
Right.
it's a bit odd. Yeah.
I assume that are they still available if you want to purchase them though, or because I find it, I
Yeah.
assume that most people will find it difficult to study from a PDF, right?
I actually don't know. I think the books aren't in publication anymore.
Right.
But yeah, we'll put in CFA Institute's email on the description if you did want to contact them. But the last time I contacted them about last year, which is only 2022, they weren't doing any books, so I had to rely on the PDF copies. So a lot
Right.
of time on the screen, yeah.
Right. So the final question is, you are a level 3 candidate, which means that you've
Mm.
already done successfully level 1 and 2. Can you share some of your experience about, how you actually went through it? What are some
Mm.
study tips?
Yes.
Have you got any tips for others watching this? Just any personal reflections.
Yeah, sure. I think that everyone's sort of study habits are a bit different, but what you want to do is read the textbook. Well, yes, obviously read the textbook, but do the questions in the textbook. They're the true source of the learning material. So throughout the textbook, there are different examples, which we call blue boxes. So you want to do all the blue boxes that you can. And there's also the end of chapter questions. And you want to do all of those ones as well. Now, on the CFA Institute website, when you log in, they'll also have a question bank. Do all of those as well. So, the key here is do as many questions as possible, but with an understanding of it. So you want to read the text and perhaps use a third-party prep provider, which a lot of people do. So I use markmeldrum.com to sort of view the videos, and then I'll see if I need further understanding on a particular concept or topic. I'll head to the textbook and read a bit more in depth. And then when I think I know it, then I'll test by using the questions. And then you just want to rinse and repeat that with every topic that you go through. But just always refer to the CFA material and whatever third-party prep provider that you want. I use Mark Meldrum, and I recommend him, to be fair.
Well, that's very sound advice. And it's probably got me thinking whether I should continue my level 2 now. So something for me to think about. It's
Yes.
been very insightful to hear you talk about CFA, Hugh. This is all for this video. For the next video, we'll talk about level 2 and 3. For
Yep.
now, we'll see you later.
Yeah.